Good morning, everyone. This is Erika.Slayton with Wallach and Wolf Mortgage and the Slayton Lending Group. I'm bringing you the Real Estate Agent Survival Guide for our current times. In addition, I'm also going to be explaining to you kind of a little bit of what's going on right now and how you can adjust your business and expectations with your clients and whatnot. So I hope that this is informative for you. You can listen to it from the car without looking at the slides, of course, or you can certainly hit replay anytime you want on YouTube or on my Facebook. Please do share because this information is very important. And thank you for checking it out. This is not a repeat of 2008. Our country and the banking system is in a very strong position, unlike the fiasco of our economy in the 2007-2009 recession. There was no financial overhang prior to the coronavirus, and we will certainly have a ding, but there are actions that we can take right now to get through this together. So I think that's really important to know how dramatically different this is than the 07 through 09 recession. And by the way, you're more than welcome and feel free to take snippets of different slides, or if you would like the slides sent to you, I'm more than welcome to send them to you. So it's not a problem at all. Just let me know. Above all, remember to stay optimistic and upbeat through this. It will define your production level for the rest of 2020 and into future years as well. So this is unfortunately one of those things that we will, be talking to our grandkids about, and it will be one of those things in the history books. So what we expect, we do not expect a repeat of the severe recession through 09 because this virus and oil shocks are not endemic to the financial system. When I say oil shocks, we're obviously talking about the price of a barrel of oil, but are rather external. It's one of those things that was out of our control. And so once the infection rate peaks, we do expect a recovery to gain momentum into the final quarter of the year, especially into 2021. So it's really important just to kind of brace yourselves. Things will change. Things will be kind of our new normal after we get out of this. And then, of course, some businesses were asked from pwc.com, if COVID-19 were to end today, how long would you estimate it would take for your business to get back to business as usual? And you can see there, most people thought that 1 to 3 months would be back to business as usual. A good majority were less than a month. What happened in 2007, 2009? And you can see the S&P correction and the substantial loss of 51% of value in the S&P during that time frame from 10 of 07 to 3 of 09. And then you can also see in that same time period what happened to house prices. Clearly, they depreciated. They did not appreciate. And it's different from 2020 because it's not financial related. It shocked and surprised everyone. This virus did. We were in a great place before this happened. Your pipelines were full, so our recovery is going to be faster because we're in a good financial place as a country prior to this happening. Now let's also take a look at pre-2008 crash, 2009, versus now and where we were in the last 6 years. So as you can tell, the red bars are the values increasing, appreciation increasing in the 6 years leading up to the housing crash of 07 to 09. And you can see how incredibly dramatic those increases in values were. I mean, I remember hearing stories from people saying, I had to buy a lottery ticket to even place a bid on my house in Las Vegas. And then, shortly thereafter in the 07 to 09 crash, they were practically giving those homes away. Very dramatic difference. You can see in the last 6 years prior to 2020 how stable growth we had, which is a very positive sign also to kind of further prove the fact that we were not in a housing bubble prior to 2020, like we were back in prior to 07, 09. You can also tell by this slide the months of inventory and homes for sale. So in 2007, there was 8.2 months of inventory of homes that were currently for sale at that time versus 3.1 just before the coronavirus struck us. And this is according to the National Association of Realtors. So this is data that is proven data nationally. And the important part about this, of course, is this also led into the bubble in that there was so much inventory available in homes for sale and not enough buyers that were in the market to be able to buy, that created that ginormous bubble that we always hear about. The other thing is too, back then versus now, is that if you had a pulse, you could get a mortgage loan. There was ridiculous lending that we were able to do back then, and it was because the investors on Wall Street were willing to buy it. And the packaging of those mortgage-backed securities was also very detrimental because it was very deceiving. I'll just say that. If you've ever watched The Big Short, you know what I'm talking about. Good movie. Since you're stuck in your house, you might not want to pass up the opportunity to take a look at that movie because it does show you what happened back in 07, 09. Now, how is 9/11 similar to, in regards to the financial markets? Clearly, just that's the only similarity as far as what's happening right now in 2020. And that is the fact that it's the shock and awe. It's generating fear, angst, and anxiety among people. And just back then, we avoided crowds just as we do now, because back then we were afraid of going to a stadium in regards to being attacked again. And now we're avoiding a stadium in order to avoid getting sick. So, but also the same parts of the economy are under pressure again: airline, leisure, hospitality, restaurants, entertainment, just consumer discretionary services in general are at risk. So very, very similar in terms of what we're seeing now versus what we saw back in 2001. Another thing, just as a sidebar here, is that most of the clients that we've been talking to lately are people that don't even know what happened in 2001 because they were very small. So they were very young. And so they didn't even really understand what happened back then as far as the financial markets are concerned. They clearly knew what happened physically, but they didn't understand the ramifications financially. And so all the younger people today remember is the crash of 07 to 09. And so that's the most recent thing in their head. And so when you see one of the other slides I'm going to show you, you'll know why that's so impactful to our business. So this is what I'm talking about. The home price change during the last 5 recessions. You can see in the 80s that there was still a gain, net gain after everything was said and done. In 91, there was a loss of 1.9% in that recession. In 2001, with 9/11, we saw a 6.6 net gain over time in 2001. And then, of course, in the 2008 crash, we saw a 19.7% decline in values. And of course, those value changes were as a result of these ginormous increases in value just that 6 years before, and you saw in the former chart. So just because the stock market's declining does not mean the value of homes will too. That's kind of the moral to this story. As a percent of income for housing is a very important thing to look at, because historically the norm has been that we can afford 21% of our income goes to housing, and that's just a very historical number. However, if you look over the past year and a half, you'll notice that this has been steadily declining with a few upticks here and there, but currently as a percent of income, you're looking at 14.8% as a percent of your income to go towards your house payment. Now, this does help if someone does lose their job or part of their income in order to being able to afford their home. The other thing that's really important to know is that 52% of homes right now have more than 50% equity in their homes, which is very different from 2008. So it's one of those things that you need to get the word out there to people. We are not expecting a rash of foreclosures, not to mention the forbearance and the deferment opportunities that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have given us in terms of the ability to defer or forbear those payments for a short period of time. And I'm going to be doing another video on that, so you'll want to keep an eye on that. Now, how to grow your business. During this time, I've got many realtors who are still actively writing contracts, showing houses and whatnot, and I've got many realtors who are not. And so if you're not one of those that is steadily showing houses to people, then I want you to think about how can you, or what can you do during this time to grow your business, especially when we come out of this. So the first things first, you want to plan and communicate now more than ever. You do have a deal on the table right now. You want to make sure that communication is top notch. This is one of those things that's very hard if you have lots of panic calls like I do. People that are not sure what to do, people are not sure if they should buy, people are not sure if they should continue with their pre-qualification. Should I just wait? People that are calling me in regards to what should I do about my mortgage payment? Should I refinance, etc. And that is very taxing, of course, on a phone, right? Just like the servicers are right now as well. So it's one of those things that you just want to step up your communication game and send note cards to people, a lot of people. You want to use this time to send out note cards to show you care. And start using video. To those newbies out there who have not used video in the past, this is an excellent opportunity for you to practice using video. Use your video on Facebook, use your video on YouTube, use your phone to record the video and upload the videos, or go live. I challenge you, go live. Inform and educate your people, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I think it's very important for you to stay in the forefront. Don't just stop communicating with people and educating your folks. Clean up your database. If you don't have one, you certainly want to get one right now, because now is the time where you have the extra time to be able to do this. And if you have your database and it's messy, clean it up. Clean it up. Time for a great spring cleaning, since you have the opportunity to do so. A great other time user is to plan your social media out. Get the calendar done. Post ahead of time. You can post in your social media for Facebook. You can post through October, through Christmas time even. Plan it out. Get it posted on your calendar in Facebook. You can actually plan the date and time when it's going to post, and you will be way ahead of the game. It really helps to kind of fill in some of those voids and those gaps and times that you don't have a lot of time to be able to post. So take advantage of it. Show slides like mine, share with your social influence, and explain where we are. This would be a perfect opportunity for you to be posting these things over the coming weeks, so you can explain people why this is different from the 2007 to 2009 fiasco, and how similar it is to 2001 in terms of the fear and angst and anxiety that people were experiencing back then, and how fast we came out of that. So that's another important thing that we're going to go over a little bit later, because I wanted to kind of end it on a positive note so that you could share that data as well. Stay on top of the data. Speaking of data, new listings, showings, etc. Share this with people. What's happening out there? There are new homes that are coming on the market every single day. I get a report every single morning. It shows me how many listings are coming on the market, and we know people are still listing their homes for sale. Then remember, people are fearful. You have to be the voice of reason and stay positive. This is the opportunity for you to shine. So remember, people are fearful. You have to be the one out there being the positive voice. Again, only way you can do that is by talking to them, by sending them note cards, and is certainly by doing videos. Converse with people, because you are not alone. I can tell you that I have done more face-to-face Zooms and a lot of face-to-face meetings, so to speak, via Zoom to stay in touch with people. I've done realtor meetings, I've done coffee meetings, I've done client meetings, I've done team meetings, and it's been extremely helpful for my mental psyche to be able to see my people and be able to have conversations with them face-to-face, albeit by a webcam, but still. You can do FaceTime and all sorts of other things, and I've got some apps listed for you to be able to do that. We will get through this together. We all know that. We will get through this together. Here's the plan. A couple of things you can do. Get into your past client database and write 10 handwritten note cards a day. Yes, challenge accepted, right? 10 handwritten note cards a day, individually to each of your clients. So, show you care, right? Get out to your database, CRM, go through the names, reach out to at least 13 of them a day via phone. Check in, come from a place of caring and contribution. What can you do for them? Is there something that you can do to help them? Is their family stricken by this? Are they directly affected? Are they concerned? I'll give you a great example. I saw on Facebook yesterday, one of my realtor couples, the nieces, they actually put out a Facebook post that said, if anyone needs food, let us know. If anybody needs us to go to the grocery store, let us know. We're healthy, we're happy to do it for you, and we are more than willing to bring you food if you're short on food. So I think that's a very strong message of place of caring and contribution. What can you do for those people? So reach out to 13 people a day by phone, and then 10 handwritten note cards. Showing properties virtually to your buyers. There are some great vacant houses out there that you can do tours on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Get the listing agent permission if it's not your listing, but I think it's really important for you to show people that you're still out there checking houses out for them, and you can show them virtually. You can do a tour on live, and go slow. That's my suggestion. I've seen some where they're zipping through the house. Go slow so you can explain things. Be safe about it. Don't touch things if you don't have to. Use a paper towel to touch the light switches. I have a little blue, I guess you will, like a microfiber cloth that I take with me if I'm going out, and I touch things with that. Then I spray it with, yes, a bottle of Everclear because I don't have any hand sanitizer left, and nor do I have any alcohol spray. So what I've been doing is I've been using a bottle of Everclear or Mohawk, which is a off-brand of Everclear, and I put it in a little spray bottle, and I spray handles and doorknobs and things like that in my hands with it, and it's a little drying, so be careful, but it does work, and it's a very high proof. So that's how I do it to stay healthy and make sure that I'm not affected or touch any germs when I'm out and about. Of course, you can wear gloves too, and there's a shortage of those, of course, but don't forget about the everyday latex dishwashing gloves. They're beautifully attractive, and I'm sure that you can find those at the store here and there to use to open things up with that as well. So just be careful. Encourage new buyers and buyers that you currently have in the pipeline that you will get, in the next couple of months, that it is a good time to buy, and interest rates are still low. It's looking like it's quickly swinging into a buyer's market. I would say that, you need to warn them that we're not going to see ginormous price drops a lot across the board. You will see individual sellers becoming very motivated, though. You have people that may be wanting to move themselves or already bought another home, and they are more motivated than others. And of course, it's your job to find them for the buyers and negotiate some awesome deals in the next 30 to 60 days. For sellers, to reassure them of the same, but that price adjustments might be needed. So I think it's really important right now to speak to your sellers and just give them a little bit of a heads up that we could see some adjustments necessary. They were coming into a very hot seller's market, and depending on the location of the house and the price point, that may be changing. So I think that's another critical area to explain to people that, price point does matter, and we're not talking about, $50,000 price drops. We may be talking about $5,000 price drops. Who knows? Only time will tell. Listings, it's a very personal decision to go on listing appointments, of course. Face-to-face meetings are and will be a question in your mind because of family not wanting you to be face-to-face with unknowns. But use technology, Zoom, FaceTime, WhatsApp, Google Duo, etc., to your advantage. You can talk to the seller by phone and have them walk their house with their phone slowly and carefully so that you can virtually tour it as you're speaking to them about listing the house. And then, of course, you can use DocuSign or Dotloop or whatever electronic signature medium you use to sign a listing agreement. I've actually heard of many agents doing that to where they don't actually have to go into the house, but you can clearly see everything nice and clear. Plan ahead. You do have to talk to clients right now for the future of your pipeline. This means planning with people ahead of time. I have a list of clients that I have on my pipeline that are not currently in a position to be able to buy for various reasons, whether it be tightening of the loan guidelines, whether it be that they just temporarily lost their income, but they're still wanting to buy once things get back to normal. And I have a list of those people. So plan ahead, talk to them, make sure that they don't feel forgotten. And that way, once the market resumes full speed ahead, you and they are ready to hit the ground running. Another thing that I'm doing with my clients, for example, is making sure that they've uploaded things to me, like W-2s and pay stubs and bank statements. Even if those pay stubs get old by the time we're ready to go, at least I've got the information and I've already reviewed it. Now is the time where we can do these things and have more time to review stuff rather than when the rash of people starts coming back into the marketplace. Keep your eyes open for ways to give back and serve. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but you have food pantries that need help and elderly neighbors, and you have the homeless that need assistance. Go to the store for them, writing notes of encouragement to area restaurant owners and bar owners, supporting them by posting who's doing delivery and takeout on your social media, who has creative packages that you can buy, like Stoneworks is doing, with packages of meats and cheeses and wine and things like that that you can cook at home because of the shortages that we're seeing of the rash buyers of meats and whatnot at the store. We're even seeing restaurants selling toilet paper. So I have to give them credit for trying to be creative and also helping and serving. Now, there are ways for you to be able to enable your borrowers to still be at the property, albeit virtually. And the way that they can do that is by using an app on your phone like FaceTime or WhatsApp or Google Duo, even if you have an Android. You can tour the properties for them where they're on the other side of the camera, so to speak, and they can see everything from your perspective. It's going to take you a little bit more time. It's going to require you to walk slowly and pan slowly through the room, pointing out things that you would point out to them even if they were there in person, the good, the bad, the ugly, so to speak. Make time to drive down the street with your camera, showing them where things are. Make sure that you point out those amenities in the neighborhood, the things that are close by, things like that, so that they can feel like they're there in the car with you. I think that's really important that they feel like that, because many people might be a little apprehensive of touring a property virtually like this, but it's way better than you doing a video and showing it to them because they're live. The other thing you can do virtually is attend the home inspection for them, with them being on the other side of that camera so they can see what's going on with the home inspector there with you. Of course, again, be safe. I'm gonna share with you some tips for being safe and being proactive to make sure that no one gets sick or spreads germs. You could view the contractual repairs that you negotiated for them to show them that they're completed, making sure that they see that those repairs are done, and you can show them again via that live feature by FaceTime or whatnot. You can also offer to do FaceTime for the appraisers if they're reluctant to go in the house. I will tell you, I am going to do another video where it basically explains to you the different options that we currently have available. All of the different loan programs are currently allowing us options for the appraiser to not have to go into the home if they don't want to, or if the seller does not want to allow them to. I will tell you that it is best for the appraiser to be allowed access, and I know that they're being careful themselves for obvious reasons. So the other thing you can do is walk through the property for the final walkthrough for your buyer virtually, and walk them through, show them everything is done, everything looks clean. Again, everything that you would do with them in person on a final walkthrough, you can do them virtually. And my favorite is to attend closing. I love going to closings. It's so much fun. It's the best part of the transaction to be able to see their happy faces. Well, now you can't because the title companies are not allowing you in. And I totally get it. I totally understand not wanting us lenders or real estate agents to attend the closing for safety's sake. However, you can still be there. I've actually got a closing on Monday that we're attending by Zoom. The agent and I set up an appointment, and we're basically going to be with the client. We sent them the link so that when they get to their closing, they click on the link and then we're there with them. So it's all virtual. We're still with you. We're not going anywhere. We want to see your happy, smiling faces too. So those are some things that you can do. If you want to take your people out, just keep your distance, right? You can still show them 6 feet apart. And when you're showing homes, I think it's really important for you to talk to the listing agent before scheduling with CSS. I know that if I was a listing agent and I've kind of given my sellers some reassurances that things are going to be very safe and very clean and healthy for them, I would want to talk to the buyer's agent to kind of have our rules of the game, so to speak, set forth so that everybody's on the same page, and make sure that I know that the buyer agent is safe as well. And inform your borrower of the same, inform your seller of the same, and then send them your safety sheet. I've actually come up with a agent safety sheet, which kind of explains what you're doing to be safe and protect everyone in question. So send your safety sheet, discuss it with them. And then as a listing agent, you could even offer to show the home for the buyer's agent so that you can reassure your seller that the buyer's agent and prospective buyers are adhering to the safety precautions. So you could do that, or you could do a virtual showing if you're the listing agent, for the buyer's agent and the buyer as well. So now if you're working with buyers and you still want to take them out, I do have a couple of agents who are not taking buyers out right now individually. They're doing the virtual tours that I mentioned earlier. You can still maintain a 6-foot distance from everyone, and you can still take them on showings. You can drive separately from the client. You can use hand sanitizer before touching the lockbox. And after using the lockbox, you're being extra safe, right? Use Clorox wipes to open the door, turn on and off lights. Anything you touch should be only with wipes or you wearing gloves. Now, the other thing you could do is you could take your microfiber cloth, you would take your bottle of Everclear, whatever you have that is a antibacterial, and you could use that too. I like the idea of just wearing gloves or just using a wipe to open the door, something that's a barrier in between your hand and the door. That could even be a baby wipe because you're not touching anything. You're using that as a barrier. So, you could really get creative with this. But all the doctors right now are stating masks aren't necessary. Use your own judgment and comfort on this. If you want to wear masks, totally up to you, obviously. Just use your personal preference and whatnot. Create a safety showing sheet. Again, I've uploaded this to my mastermind group page. Go over this with your broker to make sure that they're okay with it. I would just do this if I was a buyer's agent. Again, to show that I'm being safe with my listing agent or with my buyer. I would just show them what am I doing to protect everyone. And just give people peace of mind knowing that you want to help, but you also want to play it safe. So now on safety precautions on the seller side, the couple of things you can do is offer to show the house personally to the buyer's agent and the buyers while maintaining those precautions on the safety showing sheet. The 6 feet apart. You be the one touching things. You be the one making sure that they're not touching anything. And then give people peace of mind knowing that you want to help, but you also want to help to safely protect their family. Offer to show the inspector around with assurance to your seller that you're disinfecting behind him and her. Offer to show the appraiser around the house and follow behind them with the disinfecting items that you promised your seller that you would do. Showings can still happen. Just ask the seller to go to the park and not be present when the buyer or you or the buyer's agent is touring. Offer virtual tours to the buyer's agent, like I mentioned earlier. Tour it via video. Save it to YouTube. Put the link in the MLS description, and that will also help people to determine if they want to go to the house themselves. I think that's actually a really good idea. I would love to see that. And reassure your sellers that safety is your #1 priority. Now, closing, again, this is the creative way to be able to still be there, like I mentioned earlier. I like the idea of setting up a time via Zoom. You hop on, you're there, you're ready, just like you would be in the lobby of the title company. That way you can be there to answer questions. That way you're not completely absent from the closing. This is a scary time for people to be spending so much money around the time of a pandemic, when jobs are questionable, etc. Be there for them via technology to give them the peace of mind that you're really there for them, not just for this closing, but also in the future. Because remember, you're their realtor for life. Benefits for the future, obviously, this is forcing us to think outside the box, and it is creating new ways of communicating with people. This could be a new way to consider doing business even. It gives our clients options. It gives you options. Think about it. What if you're out of town for a closing? In the past, I've had real estate agents kind of panic that they're not going to be there and be available for closing. Well, guess what? You can still be there. Even if you're out of town, just set up a Zoom time and you can still be there, even if you're across the United States or beyond. Of course, right now it's cheaper because you're not having to pay for office space if you're not going to be officing in an office in the future. And it's easier for everyone. You're not having to travel anywhere. I know I'm saving a ton of money right now, not having to drive anywhere. And what do you need from me as your lender? As a partner, there are things that we can do to help each other. We are stronger together than we are apart. We need to encourage one another, show gratitude, brainstorm. What ideas can we come up with together? Yesterday, I had a great coffee meeting with a real estate agent. We went over their website, some suggestions that I had for his website, and just basically some things that he wants to add on to his website. We did a really neat virtual coffee appointment. We caught up on some stuff. We also did an interview that he posted on his social media, which basically he asked me 5 questions that he came up with. Nothing was scripted, just the questions he gave me ahead of time. So I kind of knew what I was going to say, but it was an interview type of interaction. It was really kind of cool to help educate his social media population. And come up with ideas on how to improve systems and processes for each other. This is time for great constructive criticism. In the future, I'd really love it if you would do this instead of that. Or in the future, could you help me out by doing this? I'll give you an example of something that happens regularly is I commonly have agents that forget to send me addendums and amendments on contracts. And if I don't know something's changing, then I can't disclose it properly. So that's an example of if I was having a very constructive type of conversation with an agent, I'd be like, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you, try to remember to get me those because that's very important for the loan. But know that your leads are getting top priority over refinances since purchases are your way of life. I am not a fan of refinances. I will do them for clients that I have worked with before. I will do them based on referral basis. I have done some refinances in the month of February and March. However, I will tell you that purchases are my #1 priority. I actually have a saying, purchase by day, refi by night. So here's some ideas of some software you can use during these times and beyond. Phone Burner is a speed dialer to help you with the speed dialing. And then you've got Sly Broadcast, which is a ringless voicemail drop system. And you've got ZipWhip, which sends out blast text to people if you don't want to sit there and individually send out a text. You've also got cell phone video camera for FaceTime, WhatsApp, or Google Duo. And of course, BombBomb to create a video library. So again, if this is some time that you're using to make things better in your business, create your video library now with BombBomb. It's a great app. I love that one. Dotloop or Zoom are virtual meetings with several people, your staff, etc. I've been doing these for weeks now. Zoom is free up to 3 attendees, and you have up to 40 minutes maximum for free. You may have some other deals out there you might have seen with Zoom, but I actually do pay for it. It's $15 a month if you want to pay for it, so you have more time. Putting it all together, don't panic. Now is the time to remain calm and be the light to your employees, friends, family, and clients. You've got to be there to be consistent. You've got to map out your sales time every day. For example, I've actually found that my day is way more efficient by working here at my house. I have just noticed that I work more at my house, which is not necessarily a good thing, but map out your day, plan your day, get up at a normal time, get going at your normal time, grab your coffee, get at your computer, do what you need to do. And note cards, phone calls, etc. Keep your team happy and use video as much as possible. Say hi, share what's happening with their sale or listing, introduce your team, say thank you, whatnot. Whatever you can do to stay in front of them through video is incredibly imperative. I can tell you that I am using video at least twice a day with my team to either catch up on things, do pipeline meetings. I have done, hey, what's going on? How are you? How's your mental state? Things like that, because I think it's important for that human interaction that we need. Ask for the business. People still need to buy and sell homes. So be sure to ask. Don't forget that great skill that we all need to have. Practice the safety, like we said earlier, wear a mask if necessary, drive those separate cars to showings, carry wipes and hand sanitizer, wipe down the knobs as you go, show stuff virtually. Please don't shake hands with people. I'm a hugger. I'm really upset by all this, but I'm not shaking hands or hugging anyone right now. Be kind. People are very scared right now. There's some people that are more scared than others. I can tell you in my office, I've got some people that are very, very scared. They will not leave their home. I've got other people who are very nonchalant. I just say, please be kind. Right now, you don't know what people are going through. And stay in the draft. Chat with like-minded people, like top producers in your office or your loan officer. You need to be sharing ideas to keep your business strong. You need to have those designated work times, like we mentioned earlier, to keep a schedule and use that technology. It's amazing what we have to use right now. Imagine if this would have happened 20 years ago. Express gratitude to people who are contributing to your success. And again, don't forget those note cards. Now, I want to end this with the positive recessionary conversation. And I say positive and recession in the same sentence because economists say that we are in a V-shaped recession. A V-shaped recession is basically one that begin with a steep fall and quickly find a bottom, and then they turn back around and move immediately higher. A V-shaped recession is our best case scenario. The recession of 90 to 91 and the recession of 2001, both of which only lasted about 8 months, are considered to be V-shaped recessions. V-shaped recessions are the shortest duration with the shortest recovery. That's what we want, and that's what it's looking like. So, what will rates and programs do? We have seen a contraction of product offerings due to the lack of liquidity in the marketplace. Once the government announced their systems in place to help the servicers, things will improve. So let me basically tell you what's happening. When Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac announced that people could avoid making their mortgage payment, going either in forbearance or deferment, I will also do a video on this too, they sent the markets into a tizzy. The reason is because when we do not make our mortgage payment, the servicer still has to. The investor has a guarantee of payment. So the servicer is the in-between middleman who's collecting our payment from us and making sure taxes and insurance get paid. However, if the servicer is not getting paid because we're not making our payment, the servicer still has to write a check to the investor. They still have to write a check for taxes and insurance. So the market is in a tizzy right now because they're afraid of what's going to happen and who's really going to be out that money. And until the government puts out some sort of answer as to what's going to happen, we're going to continue to see volatility. We will see who makes it through the storm. We do expect some companies to fail due to excessive margin calls because they're having to write huge million-dollar checks. Capacity issue is basically where we have not enough buyers of the mortgage loans for the amount of mortgage loans that are being sold. The reason why there's this capacity issue is, again, because of the fear of not making payments. So if you have a big bank that wants to buy mortgage loans and they're like, look, I only want to buy $1 billion of mortgage loans right now because I'm afraid of buying $2 billion, but yet there's $2 billion to be bought. Somebody has $2 billion of mortgages they need to get rid of, but yet you've only got this one bank that wants to buy $1 billion. They're going to cherry pick them. They are cherry picking the loans that they buy, which means that the programs are starting to become more scarce as far as the lower credit scores and whatnot. Rates most likely will decline further after the storm is over. So there's a lot of people right now who are asking me to do refinances for them, and I am telling them it's not yet time because we are seeing and expecting rates to further decline after the storm is over. So right now, remember, it's a wild ride down, but in a V recovery, it will be exciting ride back up again. And get ready, get prepared. Don't get caught up in the anxiety, the panic. Be calm, focused, plan. Take action once things return to normal. If you need to, meditate. I'm doing it twice a day now. How you weather the storm and navigate through this really shows you are as a person. So you want to captain that ship. There's your new screensaver. You captain that ship. So I want to thank you for attending. I know that this was longer than my normal video. However, I wanted to make sure that you know where we were as an economy, where we are as an industry, and make sure that you understand what you can do to keep yourself safe, keep your family safe, keep your sellers and your buyers safe, but still conduct business. In addition to the things that you can be doing outside of actually selling homes to help yourself going forward. That being said, I will have some more videos coming in regards to appraisals, in regards to programs, in regards to, the not making your mortgage payment or not. So keep an eye out, and I appreciate you watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Slayton Lending Group. That's where this is posted. So I do appreciate you subscribing, and we'll talk to you soon. Make it a great day.